joined by Tom Rees, who's Chief Executive of the Ormiston Academies Trust. Good morning to you. I suspect some people watching this morning will be applauding, saying about time. Others will wonder how on earth you're going to make this work. What do you say to both of those groups?
Well, I think the first thing to say is why we're doing this, and that in schools we're really interested in how young people learn, and we're interested in young people's well-being and mental health. And whilst technology's undoubtedly brought many benefits to our lives, we can see a clear detrimental link between excessive smartphone use, social media use, and young people's learning and their well-being and mental health. If we think about learning in the classroom, for example, it's long been the job of teachers to get attention, to manage distractions in the classroom so that we can learn things well. And we know the distracting nature of smartphones. They're designed to distract us from the thing that we're doing, to draw our attention away from the phones. And there's strong evidence which says that even if a phone is in your pocket or it's in your blazer or in your bag, that you are leaking attention away from the thing that you should be learning towards the phone, sort of thinking that whether you should check it or pick it up or reply to a message. So we think there's strong evidence around the impact on learning and on young people's well-being and mental health that means we should take this issue seriously.
I'm curious to know, what have the pupils said about this?
So it's important to say what we are doing and what we're not. So we don't actually talk about a ban on mobile phones, because anyone who knows, who's worked in schools, know that if you want to change pupils' behaviour and habits, it's much more helpful to talk about the things that you do want to have and make a positive case for change than talk about banning things. So we're talking about the positive case for having a smartphone-free school day. And in 8 of our 32 secondary schools this autumn term, we're introducing new ways of managing those sorts of smartphone-free days for young people. One of our schools have actually been doing this for a long time. The young people put their phones into a plastic box in the morning where they're collected, they're kept safe all day, and at the end of the school day, they're then given back out and take them home. So those children have experienced a smartphone school-free day for a number of years, and there are so many benefits to that experience. But we're also really clear that when we make this change, we do it in consultation with local school communities. It's really important that we talk to parents, that we talk to young people, and we build the case for change in a school. And that's what the head teachers are doing in 8 of our schools this term. And if we do introduce change as we go through the rest of the year and in future years, that's exactly the way that we'll do with that with local communities too.
Just trying to think, if a pupil has a particular health need, say, and needs to have contact with home, or a particularly challenging situation with their family and needs to have contact, would they be allowed to have their phone during the day, or is this a complete 100% ban?
Yeah, again, so these are exactly the sorts of concerns that parents and young people rightly have when we're introducing a change of this time. And it's really important that we can reassure parents that we think phones can play a really valuable place in people's lives, often to help them with transport to and from school. And there are a small number of children who might need them for medical reasons, as you've just said. So at one of our schools last week that I visited, that's had this approach in for a long time, there was a young person with a heart condition who obviously needed the phone for monitoring and to support with that medical need. There was another young person who had diabetes, who needed that to help measure their levels during the day. And that's exactly the sort of reasonable adjustment that schools make and will continue to make as we continue this work.
And in the number of weeks that, a small number of weeks that this has already been in place, have you seen any differences?
So it's an email over the weekend from one of our schools up in the north that's introduced a new policy since September, and they were saying the children were much more focused. One of the places that you see it the most is in the social times. So it's not common anyway to see mobile phones present in the classroom. They're often away in bags or pockets. But it's in social times where you see young people interacting more, where you see one of the heads describes it as sort of the old school games that young people are playing on the playground. And we think that's a really important part of this as well, is that space to be a young person, to experience childhood without the distraction and the social pressure to be on your phone or to be on social media.
Tom Rees, thank you very much indeed for joining us. It's really interesting. We'd love to keep in touch and find out how it goes in the weeks and months ahead. Thanks for your time for now.
Thank you.